My name is Matty. I'm 28 years old. I've never been drunk, and that's okay. So, from the time I was a kid, I had tried the odd bit of wine, but I just never enjoyed the taste of alcohol. And I remember saying to my dad when I was 5 or 6 years old that I would never drink, I would never enjoy alcohol. And he said that your taste buds will change as you get older. So I thought, okay, maybe there will come a point in my life where I do start enjoying alcohol. And as I got older, as I went through school, primary school, as I went through secondary school, I just had no desire to drink any alcohol. And when I turned 18 and it was legal for me to drink, I still didn't really have any desire to. I'll never forget when I went to my friend's 18th party at her house, and there was lots of alcohol there, lots of drunk teenagers. I remember having a chat with this half Asian guy, and he was just shocked at the fact that I didn't drink. And he ended up getting me a drink, and he told me it was non-alcoholic, and it was green. And I thought it was some sort of lemonade, so I tried it, and I could obviously taste the alcohol, so I stopped drinking it. So the guy tried to make me drink, even though I specifically said I didn't want to. It didn't really annoy me that much because he was drunk as well. It was bizarre that people go out their way to try and make you do something that you don't want to, even if you specifically say you don't want to do it. And from 18 onwards, I really got into fitness. I got into mixed martial arts, kickboxing. That's how my whole fitness journey started. If you guys are interested, then I talk about it on my main YouTube channel. But fitness changed my life, and I started paying more attention to the things I was putting into my body. I started eating healthier, I started drinking more water, I started exercising properly, regularly, and it gave my life purpose at that time in my life when I felt like I had very little purpose. And for those of you who don't know, at 18, when I finished school, I had dreams and aspirations to go to a top uni. I actually had aspirations to go and study vet medicine. Unfortunately, I didn't get an A grade in chemistry, so I was feeling pretty distraught. I didn't really know what to do with my life. So fitness was a real saving grace at that time. Instead, I ended up studying my backup course, which is a biological sciences course, which is not the one I wanted to do, but I ended up going to uni for that uni experience, studying there. And because I was into fitness, I didn't drink at all. And I actually really enjoyed that. I was the guy in halls who didn't drink. And actually people were intrigued at uni, but no one tried to force me to drink any alcohol, which is fantastic. I mean, there might be one occasion when someone tried to make me drink alcohol. But on the whole, university is actually a great place because everyone's trying to find themselves. It doesn't matter who you are before you come to uni. You can be whoever you want to be at uni. Once I completed my undergrad, I got into physiotherapy because I was quite sporty. I got loads of injuries, and I ended up seeing a physio. And to cut a long story short, I got into Southampton Uni, and I went down there. I moved down there, and I started studying physiotherapy. And again, I didn't really drink, so my course mates thought that was a little bit weird. No one forced me to drink, and in fact, no one could force me to do anything, which was great. But it was at this time I did end up trying a little bit of alcohol. And my whole thing was I didn't like the taste of alcohol. So if I couldn't taste it, I would drink a little bit of it. There was this bar, this pub, quite close to where I lived, and it was called The Hobbit. And there was a drink called the Gandalf, which was a blue lemonade vodka thing. And that was the only alcoholic drink I somewhat liked because I couldn't taste the vodka. I could only taste the lemonade. So I remember drinking one of those on a night out with my uni mates. And it's quite obvious now that I have very little alcohol tolerance. So I had one drink and I felt a bit tipsy after that. And so my friend and he had two drinks, so he was feeling quite tipsy, but he describes himself as a lightweight, but I think I'm the real lightweight. And we ended up getting a bit hungry, so we left the gathering a little bit early, and we walked down to some Chinese restaurant. And as we were walking down, we were just having a great time. It wasn't actually the worst experience. I wasn't drunk, but I was a little bit tipsy, and that's the closest I've been to being drunk after one drink as well. So definite lightweight champ. And as we walked down to where we were going to get food, there was a Chinese restaurant called Fu House. I remember finding it really funny, the fact that it was just FU House on the sign of the Chinese restaurant that we were going to. So I stood outside with my friend for 5 minutes laughing at the sign before we went in and ate food. Now, of course, alcohol is a social relaxant. It helps you to feel less inhibition. So even though I didn't do anything crazy when I was a bit tipsy, it was at that point that I decided that I didn't want to get close to getting drunk again, because I figured I didn't have control over myself. And that's one of the only things that I have in my life. I can't control the world. I can't control, other people. I can't control how other people react to me. I can only control me, and I can only control how I react to things and how I react to other people. So if I drank alcohol and I let myself go, then I wouldn't be in control of myself, which is something that I really pride myself in to be able to do. I feel like alcohol gives people a way out when they do stupid things. You shouldn't drink and drive, but when people drive drunk and they hit someone, they'll be like, "Oh, I was drunk." Well, that's an excuse. Or if someone is abusive to someone, like their partner, they'll be like, "Oh, it was because I was drunk." Or you hear stories of fathers beating their children because they get drunk and saying, "Oh, I was heavy on the booze," and they blame it on the alcohol, when actually it was their responsibility to not drink the alcohol, to not get to that position. And I see so many people who have their lives crumble because they're addicted to alcohol and they're drinking more and more, and they use it to drown their sorrows instead of actually confronting their fears and the things that they are struggling with in their lives. They find this vice, this coping mechanism, and so many men struggle with it, and I was determined not to become like one of them. So yeah, at uni I had one or two drinks here and there, maybe only a handful of times, maybe like 3 times where I actually had a little bit of vodka, and that was the only drink I touched because I hate the taste of beer, I hate the taste of wine. The only one I could stomach was vodka because it was a shot, so I'd do that, or I'd mix it with lemonade so I couldn't taste the vodka. And so I've been 28 years sober. I haven't ever been drunk. I've been tipsy once, and it was fun at the time, but I decided I didn't want to do that again. And after graduating uni and coming back home at 23, literally a drop of alcohol has not touched my tongue since 23 years old. And aside from all these reasons that I've described, there's just so many health benefits of not drinking alcohol. I was at lunch with my colleagues the other day, and they were talking about how they go out to the pub, they get a bit drunk, and then they go out, and then they get more drunk in London, and then they get home maybe 2 or 3 a.m, or they stay out, and the next day is just wasted, and they feel like trash, and they have a hangover. And I'm just thinking, why would you subject yourself to that when time is money, and time is the only and most valuable resource in the world that can't be bought? Why would you waste your time going to bed at 3 a.m, feeling like crap the next day, and that day being a total write-off, when you could be working on yourself, when you could be going to the gym, when you could be making memories that you won't actually forget? And alcohol helps you forget things that happened the night before. You can make stupid decisions, whether that be like one night stands, or go and get in a fight with someone, assault someone if you're more of a violent person. There's so many alcohol related crimes. Not to mention the health benefits. By not drinking, I am protecting my liver, my kidneys, my whole system, because alcohol at the end of the day is a poison, and it doesn't make people feel good even when they're getting drunk. That's not the reason. That's not how alcohol works. From my experience and from speaking to people who have struggled with alcohol problems and my friends who drink alcohol, what they've said is that alcohol numbs you so that you can't feel the pain, the disappointment, if you have pain and disappointment in your life, which I'm assuming if you get drunk heavily every weekend or every night, it's because there is pain and disappointment in your life. It numbs it so that you don't feel it, so that you don't have to deal with it, so that you don't have to confront it. And that's why people drink, and it's an endless vicious cycle of people destroying their lives by drinking. Another thing is that alcohol is essentially an empty calorie. It's around 7 calories per gram of alcohol, which is why so many people that drink heavily or that drink on a regular basis tend to be quite overweight. If I was someone that drank alcohol frequently, I have fewer calories to eat during the day. I wouldn't be able to eat as much food. And I'm a foodie, so I get so much more pleasure from eating food and eating out at a restaurant, trying different kinds of cuisines. Jason Momoa, who you guys might know as a famous actor who was an Aquaman, he does like his Guinness, fair enough. But in order to be able to drink his Guinness, he eats meat and vegetables all day, and then instead of eating carbohydrates, he'll drink Guinness. And that's his thing, which is fine. But that's not my thing. I'm sure there are so many more reasons why alcohol is not the best idea, but these are just some of the reasons that I've chosen not to drink. At least for this, 28 years of my life I've been sober. At least for now, I can't foresee myself drinking. I can't think of a reason why I would start drinking when I'm in the best shape of my life, when I look the best I've ever looked, when I'm probably in the best health of my life. I drink coffee, and I know coffee's a drug, but I associate coffee with doing work. So when I drink coffee, it just puts me in the mood to do work, to study, to work on my side hustle, to film YouTube videos. So that's probably another addiction that I need to address, but that's not the worst addiction that I have. Obviously, I'm addicted to coffee, caffeine, exercise, putting myself through discomfort. I've trained my brain to crave discomfort. It's really bizarre, but David Goggins has been an inspiration to me. I'm actually listening to his audiobook now, Can't Hurt Me, which is fantastic. I recommend that if any of you are like struggling with things in your life. It really empowers you to go out and change your life. If you're not happy with things, you have to go out and change them. Alcohol is not my friend. I don't think it ever will be. I don't really see a need to drink it ever. I don't like the taste of it. I don't really like how it makes me feel. And it costs money. So at uni, when people were drinking alcohol and spending hundreds of pounds on drinks every month, I was eating out in restaurants. I was eating nice food, eating steak, eating potatoes, eating sushi. So that was worth more than drinking for me. Having nights that I could remember with my friends when we go to restaurants and eat the most delicious foods, that was so much more worthwhile. Or putting aside that money and saving for rainy days or days when I wanted to go and do something else. I'm 28 years old. I've never been drunk in my life, and I am totally okay with that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having the odd drink. If you're someone who likes to drink recreationally once in a while, there's nothing wrong with that. Your body can recover from drinking once in a blue moon. Being more of a social drinker, so drinking in moderation, because ultimately everything in moderation in life is key. I'm talking about if you get drunk every weekend, every Friday night, Saturday night, or every Sunday night, or every weekday evening. I'm talking about if you really have a problem, then you should probably seek support. Alcohol's Anonymous. I'm not going to get into too much detail. I just wanted to make this video to talk about why I don't drink, why I've been 28 years sober. Not saying that you should do the same, I'm just trying to give you perspective into how it's potentially made my life better by not drinking. So yeah, I hope this video is insightful, I hope it helps you out. I've really enjoyed chatting to you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.